Welcome to part 4 of HMIS 101, where we're going to be talking about data quality and collection procedures. On the agenda for this training, we're going to talk about what data quality and what data timeliness are, and the benchmarks associated with each for our state, the form types we have for collecting client information, best practices for maintaining high data quality, various data collection factors to consider while working with clients, and some practical examples that you may encounter as you work with clients and enter information into HMIS. So what is data quality and why is it important? It's defined as the reliability and validity of client-level data collected in HMIS. So high data quality for us is very important. It means that we're collecting complete and accurate information about our clients. It's important to have that complete and accurate picture, as partially complete or missing data can negatively affect our ability to provide comprehensive care to clients. Missing data can mean we're not able to connect the client to much needed services. If we're missing a piece of information that's required for program eligibility, or there's something we entered incorrectly, we can negatively impact the client's ability to receive care or services. Incomplete data can also lead to inaccurate reporting at the program level and the system performance level. So that's important because if our community has poor data quality, we can be prioritized under communities that have higher data quality, which impacts our ability to secure funding opportunities. So data quality is tremendously important, and we strive to have as high a data quality as we can here in the state of Colorado. This slide contains the Colorado HMIS data quality benchmarks. So these are the goals we're trying to hit for all data elements by project type in terms of acceptable missing or don't know and refuse response options for our client data. So we set our benchmarks very high because it's important to have complete and accurate data about the clients that we serve. It's important because it lets us know what our population looks like that we're working with and allows us to go after the appropriate funding and projects that would best serve that population. It's also important because communities that have higher data quality scores are prioritized over communities that have poor data quality scores. So we want to make sure we're able to secure funding opportunities so we can all serve our clients. I won't read through everything on this slide, but I encourage you to become familiar with the benchmarks. It's a good rule of thumb that we're shooting for 95% or above in terms of data quality for our projects in HMIS. So what about data timeliness? That's really just entering data collected from clients into HMIS in a timely manner. And that's important because if we do our data entry in a timely manner, we reduce the chances of human error that could occur when too much time has lapsed between collection and data entry. Entering data into HMIS in a timely manner also ensures the community can access that data. If it's not in there, then other agencies won't know that the client potentially exists or needs help in receiving services. The Colorado HMIS data timeliness benchmarks are here on the screen. You can see for most project types, we ask that data be entered into HMIS within 7 calendar days of collection, but there are a few caveats there where emergency shelters should be entering client data on the same day, and street outreach programs we ask that they be entered within 2 working days. And this is taken also from our security, privacy, and data quality plan. So what does poor data quality look like? Well, it's pretty straightforward. If you have a high percentage of missing information or client refusals or client doesn't know or data not collected responses on your reports associated with your projects, that's poor data quality. And the implication of that is we can create a high number of duplicate client records, which will result in inaccurate reports about the state of homelessness in our community here in Colorado. It can also negatively impact our ability to secure funding opportunities. As I mentioned previously, communities with higher data quality can be prioritized over communities with low data quality. So we want to strive to make sure we're collecting the most complete and accurate information about our clients as possible and entering that into HMIS in a timely manner. So some best practices you can follow to ensure high data quality for your projects and for your agency include just following guidance from the trainings that we've gone over in these 4 videos. Reference the materials which are posted. All these slides are posted and you can download and access and review at any time you want. We also encourage you to regularly run data quality reports and data timeliness reports within HMIS. Monitor what your data looks like, not just when things are due, but throughout the year to make sure you're on top of those issues. And then reach out to your HMIS lead agency with any questions that you have. We're here to help. We're here to explain what HUD expects when they're asking us to report on all these different data elements. In terms of data collection tools, we have a variety of forms posted on the shared statewide HMIS help desk, which is listed below in that link. So we have intake forms for program enrollment information. We have annual assessment forms for clients who are enrolled in 365 days or more, so you can provide updates to the progress that those clients have made while enrolled. And then finally, exit forms, where you capture program exit information. It's important to note that there are versions of each of these forms for each of the federal funding partners and their projects. So HUD COC and ESG projects have forms. HOPWA, PATH, RIE, VA. There are relevant forms for intakes, annual assessments, and exits for each of these different federal funding partners posted on the shared statewide help desk. And again, you can access those forms below via the link posted on this slide. In terms of data collection factors that we need to remember, the first one is program type, right? So universal data elements apply to all projects. They're universal. But there are those program-specific data elements that'll vary a little bit by project type. So it's possible you might not need to collect all of those program-specific data elements. It will just depend on your specific program and what's required. We also need to know who to collect data from. So the head of household has certain pieces of information that we collect, and there are differences between adults and children in terms of data collection requirements. As you might recall, we typically only collect income and non-cash benefits about adults and not children, whereas health insurance is collected for adults and children. And then finally, we need to know when to collect data. So typically, we're collecting that at program entry, annual assessment for clients who have been in the program for at least a year or more, and at program exit. We've mentioned it a couple times, but it's worth going over annual assessments here as well. So clients enrolled in a project for 1 year or more require an annual assessment by the federal partners. And that must be dated within 30 days before or after the anniversary date of the project start date, and include updates for income, non-cash benefits, and health insurance for clients served. This allows us to track progress that clients make while enrolled in our projects. All right, let's go through a few quick examples of scenarios you might see as you work with HMIS and work with client data. In our first example, our client's legal first name is Robert, but they prefer to go by Bobby. So for HUD, they want that full first name reported to make sure we're not creating those duplicate records. So we should record Robert in the first name field in HMIS, and then record Bobby in that alias field. And doing this allows us to search by Bobby or Robert, but we can still select a full name reported in that quality of name that we report to HUD. It's possible that your client may not be able to remember their exact date of birth and doesn't have any documentation that'll help clear that up, but they may remember they were born in 1970. So the instructions from HUD we have are to record an approximate date of birth using 01 for the month and 01 for the day. So for example, our client knows they were born in 1970 but can't remember their specific date of birth. We'd write 01/01/1970 and select approximate or partial date of birth reported for date of birth and the data quality there. This will result in a data quality issue, but this is the appropriate way to go about it. We shouldn't be making anything up or reporting fake data. In this example, our client doesn't remember their social security number and they have no documentation that can help clear this up. So the statewide protocol in this scenario is to record all zeros for the social security number and to record the quality of SSN reported as client doesn't know. This is exactly what we would do for client refusals as well. We would just update that quality of SSN to be client refused. All right, so let's go over disabilities a little bit more, as this is one of our biggest data quality issues that we see. So as you remember from the previous video, we are instructed to collect information for every client about whether or not they have a disabling condition. So that's a universal data element collected for all clients in all projects. Your program might also collect these program-specific data elements, and if they do, we need to indicate, does the client have the disability? If so, we select yes, and then is it going to be long-term or indefinite and impair their ability to live independently? If that's also yes, then this makes sense with the overall disabling condition of yes as well, right? So they have a disabling condition, and one of the program-specific disabilities is yes, and it's long-term. So this won't result in data quality issues. This is what we're looking for when we're answering these two different elements consistently. Do they have a disabling condition, and is at least one of the program-specific disabilities marked yes, and yes for long-term? But in this example, we're going to run into a little bit of trouble. We've said that the client has a disabling condition. We've marked that yes, but then you'll see that none of the program-specific disabilities are marked yes. So this is inconsistent with the way we've answered that previous disabling condition. This is going to result in one of those data quality issues. And in this example, you can see we've marked that the client has a disabling condition and that they have a chronic health condition, but we've said no to that long-term piece. And if it's not yes and yes for those program-specific disabilities, we know that this is going to create a data quality issue, right? So unless those program-specific disabilities are marked yes, they have it, and yes, they're long-term, then that overall disabling condition shouldn't be marked yes. This is going to result in a data quality issue. Let us know if you have any questions about this. We know it's tricky, and that's why we're here to help. In this example, let's say we have a client who disappears at some point after enrolling in our project. We've attempted to contact them numerous times, but we can't reach them, and we have no evidence to help support where they went. This happens. So what do we do when that happens? We need to be exiting clients who are unable to reach and who we can't contact. We can't just keep them enrolled. When we do create that exit, we need to be able to select no exit interview completed as the destination. We have no evidence for where they went, so there's no other destination makes any sense. While it's appropriate to use no exit interview completed in these situations, it is important to note that no exit interview completed is considered missing data for data quality purposes. So this will show up on your data quality reports. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about this one. This is just one of those things that happens, and this is one of those things HUD expects to see in programmatic outcomes in terms of destinations for where our clients are heading. So this scenario only applies to clients who are enrolled in permanent housing projects, which includes rapid rehousing projects. So let's say we're working with a client, they're enrolled in our permanent housing project, and we've housed them, and we entered a housing move-in date into HMIS. And then something happens, and the client loses that housing for whatever reason, but they're still eligible to remain in our project, and they want to do so. They want to continue working with us to secure additional housing and to continue receiving services from us. So the instructions we receive from HUD when this happens is to leave their housing move-in date filled in HMIS, and then to exit them to whatever non-permanent destination they're staying in after they lose that housing. So maybe they lose the housing and that night they're going to stay in a place not meant for habitation or in an emergency shelter. Whatever the case is, we exit them to the destination that they're going to be in after losing that housing. And then we re-enroll them back into our project. And the thought here is that this allows HUD to see the client's complete housing history. So they entered our project, we housed them, and then they lost that housing, and we've exited them to that non-permanent destination and re-enrolled them to hopefully secure additional housing and re-record their move-in date that second time in the second enrollment. So we don't necessarily need to redo their entire intake worth of paperwork per HUD and their direction they've given us, but we do need at a minimum to record details of that prior living situation. So wherever they're staying post-housing loss in that first enrollment and pre-second enrollment. And sometimes that'll be the same day or maybe the day after or shortly thereafter. Where were they staying in between losing that housing and entering our project that second time? So we maintain documentation on file about their eligibility as well. And really between those two things, that's what HUD requires. We just need to be able to document that they were housed, they lost that housing, but they're still working with us. So if there are any questions about this, please reach out to your lead agency. We know that this is different than it's been in the past, and we're here to help and support you and your agencies to understand what HUD expects when this scenario happens. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching the HMIS 101 training videos. You made it through all 4. We appreciate your time and patience. Please go ahead and have your DPAL reach out to your HMIS lead agency, who will then send you a link to the HMIS 101 quiz. Once you've passed that quiz at 80% or above, you'll be able to register for HMIS 201 and then attend and get some hands-on experience searching and creating clients, entering them into program enrollments, providing them with services, and then exiting them out. And then you'll be able to get your login information and sign your end user agreement right within HMIS the first time that you log in to the system. If you have any questions, please contact your HMIS lead agency. We're here to help, and we're happy to do so. Thanks again.